And go.
It's Dr. Browne, and I'm on Hee-Haw.
That was it. There you go. Start the show. I like wrong numbers, though.
What?
This episode Sunday.
Jesus Christ. This is 64.
All right. Thanks for correcting me. No, every week is that.
Is that a 64, 65? Anyway.
Come now, man.
The only podcast could have been this show. Beating hangover. Hee-haw. Tool man. Not that name. That don't call me by that next name. That you never more past government, please. I'm here with Mr. Bazzi in his Italian way.
In Mexico, by the way.
Jesus Christ.
I was really wrong.
Yeah, that was horrible. I don't.
I see a child.
I see the colors. I see the colors, bro. I was going to say Papa John's.
Papa John's FC.
Papa John's. It was Papa John's.
I know Sport Life or something.
Bro, I don't know. I don't know. Herbalife, Sport Life, something. I don't. Thanks for making out my lack of one of these days.
I mean, it's just a matter of fact.
It will be the last episode if we do that again.
Take our chairs, though.
I don't want honest.
You're supposed to share it with water.
Whoa.
Seriously?
Yeah, you're not supposed
Is
to share
that
it
is
with
that like
What's that?
Is that a
bad
medical?
So we just hear a voice, listener land. All right?
Yes.
This is Dr.
Dr. Browne. I'm Dr. Browne. How you doing? Some of you
All
may
right.
know me from TikTok.
Welcome, Dr. Browne.
Some of you may you're like, come
Some
on.
of them do know me from TikTok.
know
They
what
tell
I
me
mean.
they like
No,
my
but you're
stuff.
big on TikTok though.
Nah, you know what I mean.
Don't act me get like, don't be modest.
Dr. Content.
Red women are allowed to be outlandish here, I suppose.
I think everybody could be outlandish.
Nah.
Everybody could express themselves, which is why I started the TikTok. I wanted to express myself.
No, well, I can say this. So I've known this young lady for quite some time. Hasn't changed a bit facially.
I'll take that as
Her
a really
skin-
big compliment.
No, her skin is smoother, like you know the adolescents.
Your skincare routine.
I hope so. I hope not, because I hope it's natural.
I do have a skincare routine. As you get older, you're supposed to take care of yourself.
No, well, you
When
okay?
you say skincare routine, what do you mean? Like, you wake up in the morning, rub the lime, neem, aloes, them kind of thing?
It's not really that extravagant. It's a very
okay.
simple skincare routine. It's not like a 10-step. It's 3 steps max.
Coconut oil, the old Indian adage.
No, actually, it's like shea moisturizer, 100%.
I thought he was going to make it like interesting for
No,
us.
it's really not. Sometimes you just need simple
So
things.
only shea moisturizer.
So I use CeraVe daily
no,
facial
no,
wash. Yeah,
so,
of course. You know, you have to wash your face every single morning. I do it twice a day. I use the shea moisturizer, and then I will apply sunscreen.
Bazzi.
It's just 3
Beyond,
steps.
it's beyond me.
We could get rid of all these lines on
Yeah,
our
well,
faces. We could come back looking young.
I don't scrub face or anything. I just
Well,
Water and soap.
water and soap, and usually it's a 3-in-1 for men: shampoo, conditioner, and
everything.
Everything in one,
Sometimes
everything
we
in
rub the soap in the head and thing and
What?
and that's the shampoo. Yeah.
No conditioner, you say? What's that?
conditioning. Like when you're boxing, you gotta run plenty. You know?
Nah, I don't.
But moisturizing your skin and wearing sunblock are some very basic things you could do to prevent wrinkles.
You trade words so you're doctor.
I know I find
trying
you
to say.
looking good. I find you already have wrinkles. I find you looking good. But you can use a little
She said that's
moisturizing and some sunblock is important.
You
These
actually,
niggers
you
actually-
actually niggas just bring him on his shoe with this touching elbows. I might.
All the majors just say you had a creamy skin, dog.
Yeah,
little moisturizer.
yeah, just sips her tea. Yeah, she tenderly sips her
Skin
tea.
thirsty to it, dog.
Yeah.
Alright.
Nah, that's not drinking water. Don't drink on weekends, kids.
And drinking lots of water is actually really good as well.
Seriously?
Yeah, of course.
No, because you want to give us some medical facts today.
I am here to give medical facts as
I go
best
on.
as I can.
So,
By the way,
By the way,
Yes.
don't be afraid to ask us questions. Alright?
Sure.
you could
because
say anything.
we almost here to edify, you know, and the ways of the historians. Alright. Yeah, right, Doc? Take some teachers.
Well, because every time you say something, it's just be like, I do it. So in my mind, I know how exactly what angle you cover that. That might be sly. That might be a sly knock. I'm not sure you hit it with yet.
I plan to ask you questions as much as you'll ask.
No, well, come on, you ask your first question.
No.
You asked me.
You
asked
have
me a
you have
question.
your
So,
turn to be the host, right?
Wait,
I'll have my turn, right?
Yeah, when
after I ask the first question, obviously you're beautiful and stuff. So single.
Yes, I am single.
Good stuff. I might be inside, guys. Good stuff.
So that she could be a Beyonce.
Bro, have you seen this girl? Like recently? Like
I'm a huge fan of Beyonce. Like I love Beyonce. I went to see her last year.
and she have money.
I don't know about that, but I went to see Beyonce.
Oh, let me see a Porsche driving the driveway. So
There was a.
if all you know, all you know.
I mean, if I think about it, I studied med, and you always said med. I said med, not med.
I heard med.
I said med.
It was med.
There's a I hear Mad Dog, MED.
Med.
Okay, great. Anyway, you studied, and I did. I'll be like the artsy spouse, and you get to do like the serious stuff. Because I wasted my time in college, and you actually prospered. So I think it will work out. It will work out pretty well.
Maybe
and we know each other.
I did 2 degrees. I did medicine and I did a first degree in chemistry.
But why?
Why did I do the first degree in chemistry? Because the intention was, because I did the first degree at Howard, the intention was really to study medicine in the States. But I ended up coming back home because medicine in Trinidad and Tobago at the time was 100% free.
Okay.
And you have to do an internship in Trinidad and Tobago if you want to practice medicine. So anyway.
So you did the
in Trinidad and Tobago.
You did the HBCU route.
I went to Howard. Yeah, I did. That was a.
Damn.
I went to Howard.
What was that experience coming like from a
Caribbean
background?
It was a bit of a culture shock. I'm not going to lie, because it was. There were Caribbean people. There are a lot of Caribbean people at Howard. They're from all over the region. So there were a lot of Trinis that I knew, Trinis that have gone to this high school I went to. There were people who went to QRC that were ahead of me. So there were people, around that were familiar, right? But it was different because it was the first time I was living in a different country, away from home, and I lived in the dormitories, and I lived in the athletic dorm. And it was, why did I live in the athletic dorm?
No, you used to play like netball or something, right?
I played no sport.
What? You wasn't playing hockey?
I played 0 sports.
You had a hockey body though.
That was a
I don't know if I like that, but I did not play any.
Like a long base.
Kwame, big up yourself. That was a Kwame fuck dog. Just pull out.
I just stopped.
I played no sports, honestly.
Gerard, you told me she played hockey. I went out. You liked it.
I was honestly just like, well, I want to say bright, but people thought that I secretly studied, but I was, bright. I won a scholarship from Cape, and I got a scholarship as well from Howard. So I went over to Howard.
So like about this marriage that I'm talking about, like,
university.
No. We still on that because, bro, right now according to like what girls say, like she's ticking all my boxes. She's ticking all my boxes.
You see, but it's not just your boxes that count, huh?
Well, no, I didn't tell you. I didn't qualify myself.
Somehow I feel like this conversation is beyond me.
You're still here? You're still here?
Hi, guys.
Back to the Howard experience, right? But it was a bit of a culture shock. And where I stayed, it was mostly Americans, and it is a HBC, which means historically black college or university. So it is mostly African Americans. So it was an interesting experience. I learned to appreciate rap a lot more. Like, I came out of that with Drake being one of my favorite artists at the time. Wow. Right? Marvin's Room was one of my favorite albums.
You're very brave to be. So wait now, I have a question. Because I'm a virgin who going on the. I can't say this because that's a plausible statement. And I need to be more mindful of the things I say.
Plausible things.
I have a partner who he believes that Diddy's music is still valuable.
Or the party talking about is me.
Diddy? You are the person?
Yeah, right?
Okay.
Are you one of those who will stay on the Drake train?
Well, Drake didn't do what Diddy did, right?
Allegedly. I don't
know about allegedly. I feel like everybody knew that he was not on the right side of things.
Let me say this. Let me say this and say it properly.
Allegedly.
I have the ability to separate the person from the work, the body of work.
Right.
The body of work was like Bad Boy in the 90s was.
I mean, he's no R. Kelly. Like, I think R. Kelly's music will live on.
I have never canceled somebody.
But I don't know about P. Diddy because I don't know that P. Diddy's music was that legendary. He's like some historic songs that were quite popular.
Biggie.
R. Kelly has like more significant. Although I do not agree with what either man did. And what their body of work will show afterwards will show how talented they are. I think the world is a forgiving place, particularly to men, strangely enough. So I do think that, yes, his body of work will live on, but they've already started to take out, parts of songs. Like Kesha took out the part like waking up in the morning feeling like P. Diddy. She's taking that out of the song. She's taking it out of the song. She's like doing TikToks without like cutting it out. So people are trying to erase it. Yeah, people are trying to erase him from the culture.
I don't like the only aspect I don't like about it is like it's not like, oh my gosh, this is information we have known since we were children. About Diddy, about R. Kelly, whatever. And then like even now became this
Eddie Griffin had some amazing stand-ups talking about PDD parties.
Cat Williams too.
Cat Williams.
I was always talking about this. And now when it reached the point of, am I now supposed to jump on the train because everybody else, I was a fan. I'm not a fan of him, I'm a fan of the music.
You know, and that's fair. I mean, you know, do you separate the art from the artist? You know?
I can as well.
Oh, I mean, you can. I was never really a P. Diddy fan. I mean, I don't really like men that drag women down corridors in the hotel room.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that wasn't in none of these songs.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah. You see, that's where the confusion starts.
Was it? Nah.
You asking me?
No,
If
because
that was
in my mind, if we had to cancel somebody, we had to be canceling Biggie too, because Biggie was saying
with them wild statements.
Biggie had some.
I mean, Biggie, he rest in peace, Biggie, you know, in his own sense, kind of was cancelled. He's not here with us anymore.
Wow.
I mean, he's not here with us anymore. May he rest in peace. May he rest in peace.
Okay, back to HBC.
Okay, can we say
Okay, so yeah, Doc.
May he rest in peace. No,
all right, at least
may he rest in peace.
Well,
you know, and it was brutal, and I do hope that his family and his mother, because Tupac and his Notorious B.I.G.'s mother came around each other, and, you know.
Oh, so in your college experience, because you was before that, you was like the soca dancer, and then they gave you to be on Drake hard.
Definitely enjoyed hip hop and rap more when I went away to university for sure, and I still love my soca and dancehall. I love.
No, I think it's supposed. We had a friend who used to throw events for Howard.
Our friend.
Your friend. You
used to like with him.
You used to like with him. Voldemort, as we call him. I think he used to throw events in Howard. But I guess it was soca parties.
What was his name?
One time.
Pretty sure.
Gerard Smart.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Right. So he used to throw events. So then, okay, well, you know, like when you hear the soca song or you hear the dance song, so it's like, okay, let me come on with my red, white, and black, and I will show you to wine.
I would say that I was usually the parties where they played mostly soca and dancehall, they were Caribbean parties. So like it was already a lot of Caribbean people. And yes, you'd have African Americans thrown by. But if you went to the club or you went to an American event, dancehall or soca would be, if 5 minutes is so much. So like if you're going to, I mean, during that time. But yeah, like I would say even now, you'd get like a small segment of dancehall and soca. So if you were getting that, you were at a Caribbean event. And so, no, nobody felt the need to wave the flags only. No, I didn't feel the need to do that. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
And then you went, what's the word? Okay, so at any point in time where you misconstrued, it's like a Spanish, like a Latino, Latina. And it's just like, hey, mommy, whatever. And it's like, and you're like, bro.
I don't think I was ever misconstrued as a Latino.
Never.
I don't think so, no.
She could be more like Martinique, more French Caribbean.
I could see French Caribbean, but like you, like the typical Trini girl, you don't look like the typical Trini girl.
I thought I looked like a typical Trini girl.
Nah.
I think so. Oh, you don't think so?
Objectively speaking,
no.
There are a lot of Trinidad now. Objectively speaking, there are plenty of Trinidaders of your complexion, your hair type.
I have the build and my facial structure. I think that there are people who come up to me and it's like, aren't you related to so and so? And I'm like, no, I'm not related to anybody. So there are people I think that I look like in this country. Therefore, I think I look like a Trinidad.
Rhoda. That's why I thought it was sister. She was. Isaac. Cheese pie. Yeah. That's why I used to call her Cheese Pie. I thought it was Cheese Pie's sister.
I don't know who Cheese Pie is.
Cheese Pie is
what's his name? Don't think Rhoda.
Yeah.
But you went careless.
You have people like you in this country, right? Just
agreed.
Yeah. Agreed. Right?
So that's why I was like, I always thought it was like a foreign exchange.
But the more interesting question I wanted to ask, right, is based on the whole culture of our sexual conservativeness, right? In Trinidad and Tobago, you went across into a different city, a bigger city, where that permissiveness was more apparent. How would that coming into contact with that sexuality in that area or country?
So I would say that I would say yes, people were a little bit more or a little less conservative when it came to partners and hooking up culture. Definitely was way more prominent.
Right.
When I was in university away. It was, I can't say it was a culture shock, you know. It was more of a different way of life that I was exposed to. But I was also exposed to people who, you know, if they had symptoms, they would go and get tested. And then they had an anonymous system where they email all the contacts to say, hey, you need to go get tested because I got this. So
dark.
So this is
but I mean, it's dark, but it also was like, you have to be careful. you have to be careful. But I did have friends that had the experience where they were exposed and they did, end up with
The
STD.
clids or the burning.
Yeah.
So as you said that word,
Press the button.
Wow, that's
Jump back into the toilet.
slow. So in the Twilight Zone now, right? So, because Doc mentioned STDs, right? So we have a lot of questions because you know there have an influx of foreign nationals into Trinidad and Tobago. And come on, dog. Gotta be politically correct in the way I ask these questions, right?
so far. I think you're doing a very, very good job of being diplomatic.
Yes. Right, so-
If you knew what he's actually saying when he's saying this,
But that's
I
what
hope you
actually-
understand what he's trying to say.
actually saying something.
He's being diplomatic, and I
Great.
can follow his train of thought.
Great, thank you.
So with the influx of our unsolicited guests, we are seeing within the realms of the culture some matrimonial homes being broken up, but on the more insidious side. In your estimation, would you have any kind of statistics on what the STD rate looks like in this country?
We do not have a statistic for the STD rates. I do think that these studies based in the Caribbean are quite limited,
Damn.
right? But there is a uptick in a recent article printed by The Guardian in the number of HIV cases amongst younger people. And in my personal experience and personal practice, I have seen a bit of an uptick in the questions about STD and testing positive for certain STDs. So I don't really have any regional or national statistics to give to you, but I have seen an uptick. And, it just says to me that people have kind of forgotten a little bit about safe sex practices and what that means.
Because the music now, before, remember the music was always like sexual welfare. Now the music is flat out, beat out this gear
music
roll,
is
break it up.
explicit.
So I agree the music plays a huge role in the influence of younger people and the way the younger people are living their lives. I really think through social media and music, that's why they are acting sometimes the way they are. And I'm not judging anybody because I do believe that people need to do what they need to do for themselves to express themselves. And, as a doctor, it's really a no judgment zone. You're just really trying to, it's a public health issue. So you want to reduce, the rate of transmission by educating and letting people know. It's like, although it's really nice and cool in songs, like, Shinsea's music is really nice and cool, but, the whole, it's really normalizing a culture that is not the best for safe sex practices. And if you're going to date two men at the same time to know your options, and men do the same thing, date more than one woman at the same time to know their options, then why I think it's important to be honest about what you're doing.
I have a problem.
What's the problem?
This thing has been griping me for the. I don't know how to come out and say it, but I'm just gonna let it just come out. You mentioned Shensei with the two dates at the same time or whatever the case is, right?
Right.
All we was a support on the Patreon and a dog. Like we've been asking for how much weeks now?
60.
Yeah, about 60. It's like 65 weeks now, right? We probably get like what, $5? How much was? Yeah. All right. So that kind of unacceptable, right? Sorry for the cut you off.
But me and Papa John's Jersey, guys.
Yeah, dog.
Learn by
Get hard, right? Ratans had sale, and let's slip in with the mask on.
And the mask and thing. And the loaded gun.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we need a little interaction on the socials, number one. All right, so the socials, we need some more interaction. We need to give us their feedback. If you don't like skinnies and big head, just say so.
Yes,
all right?
skinnies.
At least say it now because
Yes,
we could deal with the hate online. All right. Other than that, I think we could get back to the show though, because
That was right. That was right. So thanks.
yeah,
Thank you
we needed to put that in there because sometimes it's forgotten.
Absolutely.
It's a new show,
Absolutely. You have to promote the show. I agree with you.
Oh, it was at www.patreon.com/he_whore. Because if he _whore is that's misogyny. Yeah.
Excellent. Good.
Yeah, but yeah. But yes, the culture is encouraging music by both male and female artists, and just the practice and social media. I think social media is also.
So which one do you think more? Are we getting an uptick in like pregnancy or like unplanned births? I want to say unplanned births. Like you was not planning. You go out, you have sex with this person. They are not pregnant because no condoms getting used, and because the music tell you, shoot up the club, so you cool. Or we getting STDs. Which one more?
I can't tell you which one is more, but you definitely have an uptick in the STDs.
Shite.
I mean, you always have people getting pregnant for no reason. Like, like,
For no reason.
that's not gonna change. Like, I don't know if it's any more than usual. Like, it's always is happening.
Is the interesting thing what I think when we were going to high school that like she was like Degrassi and that type of shit like when Drake was still acting and you would have the one person having sex on the show, so it was like, oh wow, it was such an outlandish thing. You can understand what I'm saying, right? But the main thing is, oh, I want to go this party and kiss this boy or kiss this girl or that kind of thing. That was our standard. Most of your guys are little hand pants.
Sure.
And if it really pushed fast, it was actual sex. Now it's like, I think we reached the age where we the old people watching their kids like, yo, all you're wild. Because Euphoria is crazy in terms of our show.
Euphoria is crazy, and it also involves drugs. And drugs also increases the risk of you practicing unsafe sex and getting an STD. So
Wait, what?
Euphoria involves drugs, the show.
No, I talking about the drugs, but the drugs make it
You're talking about the TV show? You're talking about
actual drugs.
Yeah, right. Okay, sure. I thought you were talking about the TV show.
Hold up. We're talking about the TV show.
We are talking about the TV show, but then
Right.
she said drugs is making a practice. That's what it's like.
Drugs can increase your risk of practicing unsafe sex because you're not there. You're not all the way there. Like your judgment is
Inhibitions.
impaired, and you have inhibition. So you're not going to your inhibitions are a little less. So you are more likely to make really wild decisions if you are impaired.
That's Einstein, boy.
What's that?
Why you say that? You never impaired.
Never impaired ever.
I realize that was a big dream. Probably.
You're flying.
Iceman, boy. Yeah. All right, cool. So, the advice you're giving is sound, right? As I would say, a new generation GP, general practice.
Yes.
Right? Your media, the attention that you're giving to media is not something that we usually see from doctors locally.
Right.
All right. Have you been getting any pushback based on what you've been seeing online?
So far, I have not gotten any pushback. I think the video that went most viral was the one I did when dengue was really on a serious uptick. And I made a video about purple leaves and how it can help raise your platelet count. I was a little nervous to make the video because it's not in the guidelines. It's in no book, that this is what you should do if somebody's platelets are low with dengue, but there are studies that support that you can get elevation in your platelet count if you do drink the purple leaf extract. So I did do a video on it, and it did get a lot of views, and it is one video that I think people come up to me about. I mean, other videos too, but this one I think really, really hit because it spoke about a natural remedy that wasn't necessarily being pushed on, and I'm not pushing it because I also, in the same sentence, in the same video, like if you're sick from dengue, you need to go to a doctor, see a physician, and you need to get the proper steps and guidance that you need. And I gave all the symptoms of what dengue hemorrhagic or severe dengue would look like, but I would still give the added advice: drink some purple leaf, right? It's anti-inflammatory, and it has been shown in certain studies to elevate your platelet count, which is what is the risk of developing dengue, hemorrhagic fever, or bleeding, or death. Low platelets, because the platelets are responsible for your clotting in blood.
So, our grandparents, honestly, most people grandparents is always like, do bush remedies really, majority of the bush remedies work? It's like medically, we're talking about.
So, So pharmaceutically, all of our medicines come from bush and natural ingredients, right? We just take the bush, the extract, and we just concentrate it and put it in a form that one has a long shelf life and one is deliverable, manufacturable on a larger scale.
You are telling your dog Babylon system, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Capleton was right.
Okay, I'm definitely, but that is no.
Just joking.
The pharmaceutical industry has its own issues, but medicine for certain non-communicable diseases are completely necessary. Antibiotics are revolutionary. So
Absolutely.
right? So I really can't. Antibiotics are the reason why STDs can be treated, and some STDs don't have to develop into some of the worst things.
So that's true.
What's that?
I'm not sure if it's true. I'll ask a GP.
That bush medicine works.
No, well, I hear things from like
the bug spray and thing. Like
That does not
the
work.
bug spray.
And then don't listen to people that aren't actually doctors. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because there was a big conspiracy in the past with this guy called Dr. Sebi, where people came forward and it was like he cured them of STDs and thing, and it was a big federal investigation in the states and whatnot. But going further to say or ask whether or not that but the HIV count, right? Is it something that people could actually be cured of now?
HIV.
That's something that people is actually being cured of now.
I have a question to ask about that.
So HIV has no cure. There are studies for, I think there was one case recently, and I don't want to talk about things that I don't know 100% know about. There was one case where I think it was eradicated from one individual. But generally speaking, HIV has no cure that is in the hospital that is available to the public for anybody. Right? There are certain people, a very rare group of people that the HIV can't replicate in them, so they're actually immune to HIV, but it's a very, very small,
Mutants.
small percentage of people, right? But you can treat HIV, which is, I told the story on my TikTok the other day of when I had a needle stick with a patient that was HIV positive, right? So but yes, that sounds really bad, but if an HIV positive patient is taking their medication and doing their checkups and their viral load, which is the amount of HIV basically in the blood, is not detectable or below a number of copies, which is usually, I think, 200, then sexually speaking, they cannot transmit the disease. You can still have a higher risk through needle transmission, right, which is why you need to take the post-exposure prophylaxis or the PEP or the retroviral medication to stop your application if it does happen. But generally speaking, we have reached a place where if a patient is diagnosed, is treated, and they get to a undetectable load, their risk of transmission sexually is zero, right? And that is, I think, phenomenal.
Well, I'm a two questions that and that seem okay. If you watch regularity, you know me, I consume media like that. So there's when you're watching TV now, it have the stupidest commercials ever. It have like a drug that you take when you're supposed to be HIV positive. And they say they drop your T count or you have AIDS, you have either full blown AIDS or whatever. So like your T is drop your T count or is raise your T count.
So that's HIV is human immunodeficiency virus, right? When it goes untreated, for some people it takes a few years, up to a decade sometimes, then and your T cell, which is what you're describing, which is a CD4 count, when that drops below a particular number of copies or counts, 200, and then you have opportunistic infections that usually you would not get. But because you don't have the immunity to fight off these infections, you end up getting them. That is what AIDS is.
What I was asking is, they said the drug is like drop or something, like it's almost undetectable. By Tesla.
Drop the viral load.
Yeah, drop the. I'm not sure.
The viral load.
I just watched it in passing because I was like, so they was basically trying to, and I realized two things. This is my conspiracy theory. They were trying to push it amongst like the people in the commercial were typically people with our skin complexion,
right?
And they were people of color and people homosexuals. That was like the majority of the people in the commercial. So it was like dark skinned people or Latinos, whatever. And then if it's a white person, the person gay with a black partner. That was all the commercials that I saw. And I was like, is this a conspiracy going on here where they're saying you'll have the HIV or you'll have HIV or whatever, take this drug that we pushing out, is FDA approved, but the problem is now it will make it undetectable by testing standards. So I sat down with my mother, I was like, if it's undetectable, does that mean you can still transmit and you just wouldn't be able to test it, so you would still be passing it in whichever community? Or
so once it's undetectable, right, sexually, the risk of transmission is zero. So that's the whole point of the retroviral medication, is basically to reduce the amount of copies of the virus in your blood. So once you take the retroviral medication, and there are different classes of the medication, and depending on the infectious disease specialists, will determine what groups of medication you need to be on. And yes, it makes it undetectable. So it makes it, it does reduce the risk of transmission. It's proven that once you have an undetectable viral load, your chance of transmission, sexually speaking, is 0%.
Oh.
So,
take the yeah, I could still,
you can still take the chance. Of course, it'll be good if you have a partner, if they are on, what they call pre-exposure prophylaxis to prevent, any transmission, they could also do that. But pre-exposure prophylaxis is not available in Trinidad.
And then the next question I had.
Well, not like that. The medication is available, but not like that.
The next question I had based on STDs, etc., was key facts again. How do we go to the key facts? So, when somebody is a victim of sexual assault or whatever, they give them some kind of drug, like the police station or whoever's giving some kind of drug and is.
It's not really, the police can't give it, the doctor will give it.
I never was a victim of SA or victimized anybody with SA, so I don't know.
Well, medication, HIV medication has to be distributed by, well, obviously a pharmacy, but a doctor has to prescribe it. Okay. And the HIV medication in this country is quite controlled, as in it's available to the regional health authorities. But continue.
Right. But okay, maybe in the States, whatever. But anyway, somebody's a victim of SA. Okay, cool.
Right.
And they have this drug that's basically like, it's kind of like an antibiotic that's kill out most, whatever. So, key facts now, my key facts for the week would be that apparently the pharmaceutical companies made an over-the-counter version of this. So people now, when they want to have a wild weekend in Cabo, free sex, right. No protection. I could have whatever, and then you know what? I had sex with you, the donkey, whatever.
Right. So let's correct some of these things.
And then you just take the pill and you're cool.
Let's correct some of the things you're saying. So
this is K-Fax. I didn't come up with this.
Who said K-Fax?
K-Fax is
we have a
researcher for the show.
He's a researcher for the show.
Yeah, real researcher. He actually does research for he does his master's.
Okay.
So he gives me facts that I always fact check, and sometimes it's correct, sometimes it's wrong.
So let's try to fact check it a bit.
Yeah.
Right. So let's start with the sexual assault. After you're sexually assaulted, they give you a medication to help prevent if the person that you had the sexual assault encounter with was HIV positive and had the chance of spreading it to you. It's called post-exposure prophylaxis, right? And usually the name of the medication is Truvada, and they give you one other medication. I know this one because I'm a doctor, and two because it's what I had to go on when I had the needle stick injury.
Shit.
Right? So the medication is designed to, it is 80 to 99% of the time going to prevent if you do have contact with somebody who has a high viral load, right? It's different if it's undetectable, right? My needle stick injury with the patient was an undetectable patient, but still they tell you, hey, just still take the medication, right? When you go to the doctor. And I still would take the medication because you want to eliminate any chance or any chance, right? So they do give you that medication, and that medication is supposed to reduce your risk. And of course, you're supposed to test at the time and you test after to make sure that it doesn't happen. And you're supposed to take that medication within 3 days of the incident, whether it's a sexual assault, it is a needle stick injury, etc. Right? No problem. Post-exposure prophylaxis. The same medication can be used for something called pre-exposure prophylaxis, meaning you prevent the spread before, if you do happen to get in contact, you're already on the medication. It is a medication that is offered in first world countries, particularly in the United States. We don't use the medication like that here in Trinidad and Tobago.
So that actually is a thing. Like, I want to go to my diddy party, and it's like, it go get wild, take my pill.
It's not an over-the-counter. It's not an over-the-counter pill. It's not an over-the-counter pill. It's a pill that, again, it's really reserved for people who are high risk, right? So those are people who are like sex workers, because they are sex workers. That's a real thing.
Oh, because it's illegal here. I understand.
It's illegal everywhere, I think, in the world. I don't know where it's legal. I think like in certain parts of Amsterdam and maybe other parts of the world. But
illegal in Cuba.
So if I powerful enough, I could just go for the counter and say, well, I prep.
You are unlikely to get it because the medication is not available. It's usually only available through the regional health authorities.
Watch it this way, right?
Which is a way to keep track of what is going on and keep track of transmission.
Logistics and accountability.
Drugs are, most of them drugs are illegal, and people are getting that, like, they think they can't get this drug, like, this Trinidad we talking about.
I'm not saying you can't get the drug. I'm just saying certain drugs in this country, I know a lot of prescription medication, it's very easy to get when you just go to the pharmacy. But certain medications are quite controlled, and they are they keep a very, very, very close eye on it. Like Valium is one of them, and HIV medication is also one of them.
Valium is a nice drug, right? Like, so if like you break your finger, it's make you forget you have a finger.
But it's not over the counter, and you have to be on it consistently. You can't just take it one day and I'm thinking. You have to be taking the medication consistently.
Valium is over painkillers?
No, I'm talking about the pre-exposure prophylaxis.
Because that's what K-Fax
the over-the-counter carbo drug that you think.
It's crazy.
But yeah, it does exist, and it's something that, you know, even for gay men, they encourage gay men, if you're going to engage in, you know, non-monogamous activities, here, take this medication to reduce the risk of transmission.
And fellas on a tablet, I'm committed. Tablet. Sorry, I was just talking to him. So, we used to have inside jokes, but sorry.
Stop me going laugh here. I try to be serious. That's a serious episode.
This is a very serious episode that we educating the people.
Absolutely. Yes, but I mean, the best way to do is, you know, to practice safe sex.
Safe sex.
Know your status.
Okay, because I stopped in a sex shop recently. That one.
Really, dog.
Oh, I stopped in a sex shop
Which
recently.
part of a sex shop did you at?
Okay, so first and foremost, I wanted to get passport photos printed.
By a sex shop.
Hey,
Oh, you never
it's Val Park. I didn't know it was a sex shop. It had passport photos on the wall, and I was like, "Hey, could you print passports here?" And then I saw the first dildo, and then I saw the fake vagina, and I was like, "Hold on, what kind of store is this?" I'm not making this up. This is an actual story. Please believe me.
All right, go ahead.
Please believe me.
I'm listening to you.
So I went inside and they was telling me about, okay, remember before it had like rib condoms or whatever? And now they have this thing, which is like, this thing that the man is putting on his penis, to put in the girl, and it's be spiked and stuff, but it's like made of plastic. And the girl was telling me all these safe sex regimens.
This is that sex toy you're talking about here. Right?
I have no idea what it was. I've never seen it before. So I can't tell you. It was like a plastic thing and it's like a rib condom, but it's not a condom.
What do you mean?
And it rewashable.
Well, I was lost.
So is that and she was like, you gotta make sure and clean it, machine washable, these kind of things if you have multiple partners. And I'm thinking, so I ask her these questions because I waited for my passport photo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it is print passport photos too. Yeah, get a passport photo. That's the name of this episode.
Out of the box business, but anyway.
I mean, they had to keep their customer base. Yeah,
A question is coming.
yes.
Yes.
So it was going well. Oh, sorry. Thanks, Doc. So this whatever device, I forget the name of it, but it was like this plastic thing, and then she said you had to wash it. Right. So is machine washable, reusable condoms, I guess, a wise idea?
I think.
Hey, bro, he's not a doctor. Shut up.
I mean, I do think it is. There's a bit of common sense that goes into it as well. If you're going to use it on multiple people, I do think that's a good idea, right? Like, and I mean, yes, you can wash it with soap and water and hot water, and that is supposed to technically and theoretically remove all possible bacteria, STDs, whatever. I just feel like there's no reason to take the risk, especially with all the nooks and crannies with whatever device you're describing.
I'm not asking
disposable. I don't know. Disposable condoms is what I would recommend if it is you want to practice.
It's not for me we're talking about it, because we're talking about the have children here that do use rubbers, period. And I telling them, yo, maybe all them girls if they're not a small man, maybe you should buy a condom, and it's like, yes, they lose the feeling.
The disciples are the shaitan. They don't like to use
disciples of Satan don't like to.
They don't like to use rubber.
The rubbers. It does, but some girls are allergic. Some girls
are allergic to the latex.
Yeah, so as we was basically moving, we want to move on from the STD talk because I think we covered a lot of bases in terms of.
We did, but I just want to emphasize.
Right.
You can abstain from sex if it is.
Thank you.
That is a way to 100% prevent yourself from getting an STD. Practicing safe sex with condoms, dental dams, if it is you are concerned about transmission through oral sex. And I think, also knowing your status. Like, I think the most important point I wanted to say, because I feel like your audience may be a bit more men, and I reach a lot of women, it's just know your status, get tested. That's the best way to prevent the spread of STDs. If you know your status and you have an honest conversation with yourself and with the people around you, then you can help prevent the spread of STDs, especially if you know that you are hooking up with more than one person and not being honest with the person. At least know your status, and so that you can help reduce the risk. And, communicate. I believe in communication. I think communication will prevent a lot of the issues that we're having with the spread of STDs.
Is there a general STD test I could take that does not require something being pushed up? Is it the urethra? I don't like that Q-tip that is painful.
So it depends on what STD you want to test for. If you're testing for HIV, that's blood.
I'm talking about like gonorrhea, chlamydia, these things.
Chlamydia, you can do a blood test for the antibodies, for the IgG antibodies, and for gonorrhea. You can do an antigen test, but generally speaking, a urethral swab to detect STDs is the best way because it picks up other bacteria that is not commonly found. Because the other common STDs that it's not really spoken about. Gonorrhea and chlamydia, just the most common ones that people know about. But there's trichomonas, there's syphilis.
That's probably tricky.
Right, so there's a couple other ones that people can be exposed to.
So why asking this is because you might.
Men are asymptomatic. Sometimes they come with a discharge or bleeding when they bleed.
And HPV men don't really show the symptoms of HPV.
And they don't usually, unless it's a certain type of HPV that causes warts.
Genital.
You can get genital and anal.
So
depending on the type of HPV.
Nice.
So what I was saying this for is because I don't know. the bedside manner for what I've observed in terms of at least with the general hospital, unless it's like a Cuban doctor or something like that, is be like when you go government, it's be like, yeah, oh, you come to get swab.
That is all you
And yeah, that's the Q-tip. Whack, whack. And that is not a nice feeling. So that's why I was like, is there a way to circumvent getting the Q-tip swab, like shove all the way up my stomach?
There are blood tests that you can do that I'm not too sure all are available in Trinidad to check for the genetic material of the bacteria. But to be fair, the simplest, easiest, quickest way, and to be fair, the most inexpensive way is to do the swab because it looks for so many things.
Well, I mean,
I know it's uncomfortable.
Is that a gentler way?
Easy to over with the person who administers.
At least get one number first.
Again, it depends on the technique, and I'd like to think I know my people over there, doctors, are doing the best that they can do in the public system with what they have been given.
Because she has a video, and I asked her because she has a video where she has like general private practice versus, and it was like her in like the full makeup, and I think he was quoting Devil Wears Prada. It was Devil Wears Prada.
Yeah, it was Devil Wears Prada. Basically, like in private practice, in public practice, you're like shaking, you're on coffee, you're disheveled. It is very stressful in public. I did work in the public system as an intern at Port of Spain for 1 year, and then as a house officer in internal medicine for 1 year.
So the economics of the thing now, in terms of both sides, which one is more lucrative?
I would say that. I don't think your time is so valuable. Right, and your time is money. I would say that your private practice is a bit more lucrative, but you can get so much value in public because you learn so much practicing publicly. But it does take up a lot of your time. It takes up a lot of your time and energy and mental health.
So my thing is, which one? Because this is Trinidad we're talking about. I don't want Trinidad. The sick leave, the quote unquote sick leave, is a staple in our country.
Well, yes, some people get sick and need sick
No,
leave.
no, I don't mean that. I mean, I just want to go on the beach with two smallies from work. I had a day in work. We used to call it literally Duck Day, which is the day that everybody sick leave renew. So you get because I'm in Trinidad, everybody's taking 14 days. So you go as soon as me and my brethren used to be like, yeah, so we're doing for Duck Day this day. So we already knew which doctor we were sitting, how much you had to pay, what the activity was. And then it became an event where everybody just knew, all the permanent staff just knew, hey, we're ducking work today.
I just want to say I was not that doctor.
No, he was not that. I've never seen her before. That's for the record.
Because you get blacklisted.
Right. So in terms of that, where people always come and brace and be like, well, doc, my throat kind of hurting, I stroke plenty. Do you actually test them? Okay, I'm not saying you do that, but like, how you circumvent that now?
I mean, if somebody, comes to you and they're genuinely ill.
No, they're not. I don't want them not. The people fake.
The people that are faking it, how do you do? Well, then you can't give them sick leave. What other answer you expect me to give in this situation?
You
can't give them sick leave.
Nah, but like for real, because at some point in time, we kind of had a crackdown on that, where the sick day.
Well, the doctor is doing her best to crack down on that.
There you go.
Because people just get banned, and like two of my doctors get banned already from where, because it was
they send out notices about sick leave and our guidelines and how we're supposed to practice it, and when employees ask for further clarification, like we have a board that does help regulate what's going on.
Dislocated shoulder and couldn't get a sick leave once.
But that's in public.
I
mean, that's because they do beat up in public to give sick leave. I really don't know why, but they really do. Unless you're in medicine. If you're in internal medicine, shout out to internal medicine, we know if you're sick, and we give you a sick leave.
No, because
must be nice.
I was getting
internal medicine. We do. And if you break bones, they will give you sick leave and you do surgery.
I had vertigo. Because, when they use too much Q-tips, like I was pushing and impacting my earwax a little bit too much, and I was getting vertigo from them.
Really? I'm kind of judging you for that.
Women.
Why are you pushing the Q-tips so far into the air?
Well, why are you pushing the Q-tips so far up my urethra when you take the thing?
Because he's trying to get,
I'm trying to get the earwax.
It's a little bit different.
I'm trying to get the earwax. I'm trying to get the earwax.
It's a little bit different.
If I know that was a quick response though. She was expecting that.
I mean,
when you push the Q-tip in the air, though, you're just impacting the wax.
Yeah, I know that.
And then you have to flush it out. So it's really not the best. Well, now you know because you damaged yourself.
I had legit vertigo, and vertigo is not a nice feeling.
Yes.
And I was
terrible.
Yeah. because you're dizzy all the time, and then I had to be on this drug that had me woozy, and I was like at the point in time taking cold. Stemetal.
Was that the drug you were on? You don't know.
I have no.
This is often patients. They have no idea what they were taking.
Yeah,
But they are so anti-pharmaceutical. But what was I taking? I don't know.
I was getting sick leave with the drug, so I just like this different thing, and I just home watching our whole day with this drug in my system, like, what is going on in my life?
Sounds accurate.
No, basically, I'm not sure if this was what did he, wherever did he be giving people. I think I was probably on. I'm just joking. That was no, I was not.
Is it the reference?
Hey,
I can find your early reference in Diddy.
Hey,
we want to let him go.
It's on my.
It's time to let him go.
It's on my. Sorry, it's on my.
Push it one way.
It's on. Yeah, this is not a thing that's supposed to happen when you're alignment with Spanish girls. If that happens, trust me, it's not being rap.
But I mean, immigration.
No, when you know, like legit, you just talking, and if I press the button and just go off, it's like, oh shit, everybody like, no, don't videotape. I was like, hey, I was just trying.
So let me guess. You was like me with some Spanish girls and your phone camera. Come on.
No, because you had to press the power button to unlock the screen. But if I press it twice, like if I do that, wow, that's happened. And they think you're video recording. So then it's be like, that could end up being our whole scene. And it end up being our whole scene.
As in, you are a government agent?
But I don't know. Like based on the Spanish, I was picking up. No, but like, yeah, immigration is a serious thing.
Immigration is investigated.
Okay, in my study.
And if they suspect you're doing something like super illegal.
Well,
No, to be honest with you, the thing most people is scared, like when you see the raids and stuff happen, and I fully agree with if that happening is like underage prostitution.
Okay.
If that's I have no. I understand the need for prostitution in countries, wherever some men, wherever. But underage prostitution, I can't rock with that no level.
I'd like to hope we're all against that.
Well,
universally speaking, we're against.
You haven't been to Japan.
There are parts of the universe.
You haven't been to Thailand and Japan.
I have not.
Yeah, they love
underage people, the boys and girls. And that's a serious thing. So when you see the raids happening, yes, your police service is actually working towards making sure that the human trafficking of underage people,
girls.
But the regular age girls, like, you got to prove it in court. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
But then if a 14-year-old girl lay in a club, you'd be like, why are you here in the first place? Why are you in a bedroom with an adult man? Yeah, we had a whole boot.
Does your father? No.
Well, in our bedroom, bro.
I think in some cases it does get caught. In a lot of cases, I do think it's real. Unfortunately, it's underreported and it's not investigated enough. But it's an issue. It's a huge issue.
Specifically with like the
foreign nationals.
Yeah, and that's my thing about it. Because when I was being in them spaces and I was here, these girls, when they tell you their life story, is be like the most heartbreaking thing. Because it's be like they have a debt to pay off. And then even when they pay off the debt, the fella who have the debt on them is literally be like, okay, she coming up to the $15,000 mark. Call immigration.
Sorry to laugh.
Bro. You see the evil one in the two.
No. It's like when drop the button on emphasis.
Stop laughing. I was being serious.
So he checking out.
No, so he's like, okay, so if they're living somewhere, and I talk to fellas who have girls, I talk to girls or whatever, and I just be sitting down like, yo, this is kind of very heartbreaking.
As villainous.
No, some of them make us very horrible. So it's like, hey, you come in the country, well, you're living here, so you already owe me money for bringing you across to what you thought. In my mind, I say some of these girls should have just signed a bad boy. At least they'd be famous because it's the same treatment.
Wait, how many times?
That's 4 times. We did it. Bad.
Goodbye.
I can't.
But not all of them have come across for that reason.
No, I'm talking about the ones that come across for that reason.
Oh, yeah.
I'm talking about those. I'm not talking about, because I know some well-to-do Venezuelans. I ain't finished the question.
Well, there's a question.
No, I ain't finished the thing. So, I ain't finished the thing. Let me go. I'm go. I'm not hungover anymore. I'm going water. Anyway.
Okay. Nemo.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So when you do all of these things where you have somebody in that kind of lane, they're about to pay off, and then you're living by the person, or you're living somewhere, you gotta pay the rent there. So that is adding to your debt. So then they pull in like this kind of indentureship contract, which exponentially never ends. Progressively never ends. The more you pay back is the more you owe.
It's fascinating. Now you're saying indentureship, though.
No, it's basically that, because they didn't get, some of them really get snatched and brought over here. And some of them was like, hey, come Trinidad. Venezuela is shit right now in terms of financial crisis. You have a better working opportunities.
It's called sex trafficking. It's called sex trafficking. It's just
no, they don't know they coming across here for that.
Okay, but
some of them don't know.
Some of them do. It's called sex trafficking. But
you think some of them women know they're not coming across here to prostitute, dog?
Some of them do know, but some of them don't, is what I'm saying. And them is the ones.
Either way, it's sex trafficking. It's illegal. It's not a practice that it's illegal in Trinidad. And it's,
No, but it's very indulged. It's super indulged.
All of it.
And that's my issue with it now. It's like, so it's either A, you make the thing legal, so you give these girls who think they have to sell their body, whatever, and give them a chance that they could live a little free and a little bit of liberty to do that, make back the money, send back for the children or husband or whatever. Or, like we actually crack down on the situation, but then when you realize the people that enforce it is the people who's indulge.
You really think that going to work?
No, it's not going to work in Trinidad, just like the sick leave. It's like the sick leave. But anyway, you can ask your questions now.
Okay, it's my host time.
No, you have about 10 minutes again. No worry.
Okay, great.
Yeah, don't worry.
I went off the grill there. It was a heartbreaking week for me. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but we're driving into our next topic, right? So that's all right, dog. But just get over. It'll be all right. I believe in you, though. If there's one thing.
Okay, if you want to buy a pizza at Papa John's, that's
the Confederation of Pizza. Right. All right, so this is where we want to field the questions that we have from our listeners about the guests who come on the show.
Sure.
So I was talking to one of our avid listeners yesterday, and he said, well, this was in confidence, right? So I can't call names.
Sure.
But I have to... Boy, I had to be careful. I really had to be careful these days. I can't call names.
Right.
What I could say is he has a scenario that he needs a little adjustment with.
Okay.
Right? So apparently there's a thing called a honey pack that Ben has been taken to engage
sexual what's it called?
In the proclivities. Right?
Okay.
Right. So I mean it's like so he's gotten to the point where the stimulation is not at that is an uncomfortable thing to say, but the jackhammer in jackhammering anymore.
Right.
The jackhammer and hammer.
What is a honey pack? I didn't even know what a honey pack is.
This is what I wanted
it's
to know.
for sexual libido. Is keep your erection.
So it's one of those stimulants
Aphrodisiac.
that people take like a rush.
Let's see if I can get the package.
It's not a pill. You're not talking about You're not talking about Viagra.
It's like that.
Okay, so
it's
all those drugs in those categories, right? Is my question to you. Well, to this man, for this guy, he wants to know: is it reversible in terms of after you're taking whatever the chemical was and it causes this placebo effect? So is it reversible?
I don't know what chemical he took. But
that is the chemical
Royal Honey VIP contains.
And like it's never be FDA approved.
Royal Honey VIP
You
contains.
believe in the FDA, dog.
I have no other choice.
So it contains Cialis. Okay. Sure, no problem. And that is something that is in Viagra or other drugs to help with erections. Sure. So he's saying that it doesn't feel the same.
He say, he dependent on the
And it's a young guy, right? It's
if
like
he had
3500.
yeah.
I would say that your friend needs to see a urologist.
Is erectile dysfunction on the rise, on the uptick, as you say?
I don't know that it's on the uptick, right? First of all, men are least likely to come to the doctor to complain unless something is really wrong down there or they're literally about to die. Like, men do not like to go to the doctor, right? It's more of a women thing. But if something is wrong down there, that is the one thing that concerns them. And, of course, feeling like you're on death's bed. Those are two things that I think bring.
No, honestly, think about it.
So can it be reversed? Yeah. Honestly, I don't know how much he was taking, how often he was taking it.
Men taking a honey pack like it's juice.
Because he's work for me, right? So
she just out in the person.
Yeah, I real laugh when you
out in the person.
I laugh when you tell me
I know with it. Yeah, that was mean, bro. That was mean, bro.
Yeah, but you can't be telling me them things, dog. Like, you can tell somebody else, dog. I promise you, I'm not going to keep it secret.
No, I'm telling you, fellas,
Nah.
like, have that conversation in, like, the male circle. But then I can't see myself. Okay, I know you for how long she is. Actually, my doctor is a girl. I know her since I'm Form 6. So, what I say, girl, female. And
that's why.
Like, so, if it's one person, I'll draw some more penises. Because it's like, but then, I know you for...
We're talking about penises now, right? Just in case.
Penis.
You didn't know. That's the memo.
Absolutely.
So
erectile dysfunction. Erectile dysfunction.
Oh God! She was like, you boys and your penis
penis problems.
Yeah, she just went into our Freud textbook. Was like, Freud was not lying about his penis.
So yeah, I mean, sure, fair enough. But if it's reversible, I mean, if you become dependent on something, right, you have to decrease your tolerance on the medication. He also needs to figure out if he has an underlying reason for why his equipment may not be working the way it is, because there are different reasons why that may be happening.
Because that
Right
is
now-
up when he punch.
No, right now, fellas.
Smoking is like one of the worst things you could do if you.
Seriously?
Yeah, smoking will definitely affect your performance. Yes.
Damn. I don't smoke, but I was saying I know some niggas who smoke. So.
And drinking as well too, like it will affect your performance. So it's like you have to have one, what are the underlying reasons? What's his lifestyle like? What is his habit like? And then just taking a medication on top of that to kind of cover up an issue would be my response to that. He needs to probably see a urologist if it's not become the only way that he can.
That's
What
stop
about if
running
it's like
hoes,
what about if it's psychosomatic, where it's like, yeah, for some reason, because I see this up live, like I was just laughing the shit out of her man in terms of
Please
whatever,
don't do that to
laughing
the
at
guy
him,
now.
like, what are you doing to go with that? And then, like, since then, he just,
Yeah, but I don't think
Careful.
that. Well, I don't know. I mean, that's a possibility, but I don't know if that's this guy's
no,
case.
his
We
case.
would any poor duck with some hard
Hey,
questions.
we
to
two
answer.
meals, and we have to ask the penis the hard question.
Actually, we just feeded that question from somebody who wanted to find it from a doctor. He's like, "Wait, boy, a doctor coming on your show tomorrow, boy." Here was you see now, boy. I want to know if you're taking too much honey pack, if it's get dependent on it.
I feel like as a young man, you shouldn't be having to take so much honey pack. Like, how much is he needing to perform, and how frequently? Like, what
Maybe
is
it's
he
every
doing?
time. I don't know.
Every time. It's every time.
We don't know how frequently every time is.
All right, so by the time we started to talk, I was laughing, right? So that's probably my insensitivity.
So okay, when you get a client, not a client, like it's called patient. When you get a patient like that, and does your disposition is I'm not gonna, even though you might be like, yeah, this nigga have a dead dick, you're not
Come
going.
on, boy.
I definitely, as a professional, in a professional setting, I'm not going to, like, yeah, if you come to me with that complaint, I'm going to listen to you, because it's like any other complaint to me that just requires a proper history, an examination, and proper investigation. And for men plus who are 40 plus, right, who have a history of enlarged prostates, that's a risk factor for you developing erectile dysfunction. So get your prostate checked if you're 40 plus.
Oh, I'd asked about that question, which was, so it had like the sex addicts or whatever, and then they come and it's like, hey, doc, like they never come. How does one? You understand? I stuck a hamster up my booty. That's just like American shit here.
There's
like,
some Reddit stuff here.
yeah, some Reddit shit. Where it's like some wild, weird shit happen. They do to themselves, and then they have to come like the emergency room where they have a light bulb in them or a hamster head or some weird, and it stick. You never see the movie Jackass when he took the car, the like toy car with an icon and stick it up his bottom, so he went like an X-ray.
I was in church camp them times.
No, yeah, stop lying. You watch the movie.
So
You
the
know,
question is, like, how do you react in situations like that?
where you go and watch the X-ray, it's like, that's a car.
Have you ever experienced something like that?
Yeah.
I mean, when I was a student in medical school here, there was a time where a guy did come in and he did have a vase up his
what?
passage, a vase, a
Like
vase.
for flowers.
Yeah,
Well, he was
that
trying
was
to put
there.
some.
That was there. So it does happen. Actually, it actually does happen.
Quite a.
I don't know if it happens a lot, but it does happen. I can't say it's the thing that you see the most in accident emergency. It's one of those, rare, interesting cases, because it is interesting.
There's something vets that see more. Like if you're a vet, you might see that more.
I have no idea what vets see, because I am not a vet.
Just asking.
So
And you just approach it like as a doctor, you're just like, wow, that's strange. You're gonna say it's strange, like you're a human being, but at the end of the day, you have the task is to help the patient, and you focus on the task as a physician.
I felt like dating a doctor though.
Oh God, we're back to that. Yeah, what's up?
Oh my!
Here we go.
Hey, don't belittle me. Humor me, damn it. I felt like not like dating a doctor. I talking about when I remember most of our friends who end up being doctors. I was just the underachiever, and when you like in terms of sexual space, because when you're only doing wrongs, it's so much genitalia and so much thing that you get so desensitized. Like fellas just be like, wow, I see biggest and you just like, oh, okay, cool. Like, are you still very, what's the word? Not surgical, but like medical, like most things, like somebody, if you have your partner or whatever, and they're like, hey, well, you sexy. And you're just like, oh, you might have a lump underneath there. Or what's that?
I mean, generally speaking, you're not going to treat your partner as your patient. You know, you're not supposed to do that. But, you know, you're always going to be a doctor at the back of the mind. So if you do see something, you're going to say something, especially if you see something on somebody's genitalia, just saying. You are going to, you're going to say something for sure, to be fair. But you don't become, desensitized to it, like, oh, that's just another body part, because that's somebody different. It's your partner. Patient is your patient. So when you see a patient's body, like you're trained to see them as a patient. Like, this is just a part of the body. This is what's wrong with the part of the body. How do we treat with it? What do we do to manage the patient? And how can we help the patient? Because that's the goal as a physician.
Because this was back in the day. I go in UE and then it was like GGI. You know GGI?
She didn't go to UE.
You didn't do.
I didn't go to UE. I went to Howard, and then I came here and did medical school. And medical school here is not like going to UE.
Oh, it's like
in Mount Hope.
Right, I was in GGI. Was the dome strictly for medicine.
I was an adult. So when you go to medical school, to be fair, some people have just come out of high school. Some people were the third year. I just went straight in from Howard, and it was a little bit younger. I didn't live on the dorm. I was older. I lived in an apartment.
Because something like the 40th and the 50th was there. There was like the OGs there, but I talk about like the year 2, 3. The 40th, 50th, like if you're dating them, they would be like, no, it's just really custom to whatever, and it's just very surgical. I really like my times with med students. They were cool.
Yeah.
But it's something I was like, nah, why?
You felt like they were disconnected?
So yeah, the human experience. They like have this cord complex.
Really?
It was like, oh, that finger, that's really bacteria.
You're gonna observe, and as you get older and more into the profession, and you know, you're not just studying and learning, and you aren't just going to. I'm not gonna look at a patient and just start to spew out medical advice because they did not ask for it. So I think that medical advice is something that should be elicited.
Or like most advice.
You're right. Like most advice should be elicited. No, sometimes you have to tell people. You have to give people advice. Sometimes. Whether outside of medical, sometimes people need to hear certain things and you have to tell them.
Okay, man, give me an example of what some people already need to hear.
I want to say something that's not controversial.
Nah, boss it.
Can't say anything. No, not controversial.
This is a body odor. Because we could be like a big man, you smell this thing though.
I do think that's a nice thing to tell somebody because you're looking out for them, because the first thing people remember, and it's the one thing that people remember, is your scent. It actually stays the longest in human beings' mind.
You can tell me this off the air, you have to tell me this on the so I'll smell that, boy.
I'm trying to be polite on the air.
So this is what you doing, man? You say, am I here? No deodorant.
That's a good example. You should tell people.
You should tell people.
Well, not in a nasty way. In a group of people, you just.
It's a big man.
Sing boy in front of everybody. You can't do that.
No.
You know, you pull them aside, you have a nice conversation, you make some recommendations, you do that nice way.
We dog. We have a mutual friend.
Right.
And like when we was working in the same spot, like it's mainly women was working there. So Jesus Christ, these girls were horrible. So they was like, I don't know why he's come and talk to me for he's smelling stink, blah blah blah. And this is when I realized it really had nothing to do with that. They just didn't like him specifically because to help or because I am all for solidarity. So I say, here's the thing, girls, I can't stop using deodorant if all they puppy showing him. Because I could be on all here if all didn't tell me nothing. I did no deodorant for like 4 or 5 days. Them still on him, and I was like, how are you giving him the blind? But I cool.
Let me get it straight though.
Yeah.
So we brethren on the rest of the females now.
Yeah, I for solidarity.
You just stop.
I pick up the fight. I always pick up the fight.
I don't know if that's a fight. You shouldn't pick up fights.
For the underdog, I'm always representing the other.
I don't know if that's a fight.
So when you stop with the dinner, right? What was the outcome of the
these girls are still like with me. So it didn't make a difference to me.
Maybe you don't have bad body odor.
I didn't. He was horrible. He was.
Because some people, their body odor is a little bit.
And I know, but eventually I pull him square. You know what I'm talking about? He's like a youth man. He's like a youth man. If you know what I'm talking about. I talked about him recently.
Right.
And I pull him square and I was like, dog, is this it, right? All these girls complaining to me, and I don't really like to hear about them man trouble and whatever. But I was like, I was working at the point in time. I was like 10 years older than everybody. So sometimes that's when you come tell me she man bro. I was like, you are dumbass. Is this man one in here? This whatever. And I was like that.
So you give illicit advice.
No, you don't understand.
It's just-
I'm taking calls. We have to alleviate boredom, and I am trying to get through the day, however it happens.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
This, okay, I don't want to call this.
Fair enough. But
That's
sometimes
it,
you
that's
have to
it.
give people advice.
And no, so
Some people need it, yeah. Sometimes some people just be doing the most.
Sometimes they just be doing the most. I agree, you know, and you have
Place a
to.
hand on them and say, yo.
So has your God complex kicked in that you don't take advice?
I can't say my God complex has come in because I do take advice. I am, like most other doctors, less likely to seek medical advice. And I think that is not the best thing.
Self-diagnosing?
Self-diagnosing, because it's kind of pretty easy, but you do need an objective eye. So it's not the best. You should not self-diagnose. As a physician, you really should go to another doctor. So I guess in that perspective. But I don't think I have a God complex. And again, part of the reason I started TikTok is to, have a relatable content where, there are down-to-earth doctors that generally like patients and, have a good bedside manner. And not everybody is just, upset and angry. And we want to help. I would like to think most doctors want to help.
My issue with doctors is on the next flipping is like, as going, I try to make jokes, I cracking jokes. This one I had the vertigo. So this was during around COVID. So I inside there and they locked down the hospital. So I there for like 48 hours waiting. The doctor, I forget her name, some chick, and was like, it's two stories. And she was like, so I had to take blood for whatever reason, I don't know. So they just like they test him out, whatever. I was like, is this gonna take more than one injection, or can you get this done? Can you get the blood on me in one go? She's like, nah, yeah, nothing to worry about. I hate seeing blood, so I started to pass out. She was like, so she missed the first time, and I realized nurses now are better at like taking blood samples than doctors, at least in the.
Please tell me which hospital you went to and a nurse took your blood.
No, nobody took my blood, but like they better at making the injection.
So, blood taking in Trinidad and Tobago usually is done exclusively by the doctors. And injections are intramuscular. So, you literally just have to stick a needle inside. To take blood or phlebotomy, you actually have to, it is a skill and it's a skill that's taught us. You have to actually find the vein, make sure you get a good vein, and do the venipuncture. Like that is the way it is. So
The venipuncture, that's funny.
Generally speaking, nurses don't take blood in Trinidad. I've only ever seen it. Anyway, generally speaking, the doctors are the ones that do the phlebotomy and that take the blood. So doctors are good at taking blood. Nurses don't even take blood in Trinidad, so we can't compare.
No.
And I'm not saying no nurses do it, because there are few nurses that do it, but publicly speaking.
I get choked about 3 times, and I was like, lady, you missed the. I was like, you sure you're not gonna miss the vein? Then she come back, she's like, oh, the needle I use was too thick. I was like, you know this, nigga? Like, wait.
It's a skill. And no, it's not. It's a skill. It takes practice.
And then the next one, which was everything, all my issues is always be mount up for some weird reason. It's always mount up.
Go ahead, you understand?
So I go there to get some kind of incision, whatever thing. So while they checking the part, so it's it's like 6 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock in the morning. So it's the lead surgeon and the lead surgeon, and then his 2 underlings now. So I guess interns, I'm not sure what they do.
Usually it's interns, house officers, registrars, and the consultant. Consultant does the rounds on a morning, usually when you're post-call, and the registrars, second in command, and the house officers basically help manage the interns and the team on the ground so that the patients are well enough to see the consultant and that we save lives.
So the head guy was just like, whatever, let them interns deal with that.
Yeah, they don't do that. They don't do blood sticks.
Right, so then the girl now, it was too early in the morning, so she was like, fuck him. And I was like, I not dealing with him. And then the next fella to deal was like, I'm assuming he was gay. I'm assuming. So what it have to do with it, because it was so weird now. So he was just like, oh, the thing here, this is like on my butt. So he just there, well, I think it's pungent, it's whatever. And he like examining this thing. And I sit down there like.
What was the issue you had? Sorry.
Like a mole or something.
You had a mole?
A mole.
Was it that? Was it a mole? It was a mole? All right, okay.
So it was like it was a mole or something like that, some shit. But then he said, I mean, it doesn't have, so he just there. And I just there. Yeah, so me, I cracking jokes. I was like, well, dog, ask for my number first now.
Pretty much you got sexually assaulted.
No, I didn't get sexually assaulted.
These jokes, he was examining it.
He was examining.
He was examining and doing what he had to do.
No, so I was like, just ask for my number because he just there and like nobody else. And then the lead doctor, and I was like, yeah, you can stop touching him now. And I'm joking to tell her this shit. So I said, they're like, okay, or random. The girl, I was like, what's her problem? Why is she so vexed for? it real early, these kind of things, and it's like only in Mount Hope.
I mean, I really try my best to not specifically comment on the different health authorities. And
No, you can't. You can't. Like,
you can. Yeah, I definitely won't. And I would say that they do their best on a very, limited budget with an overwhelmed system. The system is quite overwhelmed, to be fair.
and then my third Mount Hope story.
System. How about next one?
My
Yeah,
third.
but,
All right, so
you
before-
did tell us one this story. Let him.
Yeah,
You
so
tell us.
before
I'm
the
waiting
story.
for you. Are you know it's 10
Before-
minutes? We
Well,
take it
okay,
in.
but you only know how to ask a question.
Yeah, before we go into the next story,
You go.
right? There's a segment here that I had to just finish all the toilets, right? So the toilet done. Good. Welcome back.
Hello.
Yes. All right. So, Doc, this is your opportunity to ask the host, some random questions. It can be anything, what your profession is, what you do, what make you decide to podcast, whatever the case is.
Hand blocking.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Whatever you feel like asking us, we rocking back. We taking a break from doing all the pressing.
And stories. I'm not going to tell no stories. Put your brace in your hand, you're blocking it.
All right.
Yeah.
You see that now? Yeah, good. All right.
Let's do I know you're right. Then.
So-
I got you.
I'm Terrence in it now.
Good. I guess my first question is: have you ever been tested?
Yes, I have actually been tested.
Excellent.
I've been tested about 5 times in my life.
5 times in your life.
Tell
Okay.
you a story.
Wrong question is this one.
No boy, we're not in Twilight Zone. I have to go back there. I'm going to tell you a story. Right? Remember I asked you about the culture shock?
This one time
Yeah.
at band camp.
Thanks for cutting the story. Right?
You go.
You're getting disruptive, but relax. Good?
Talk your
All
stuff.
right. The culture shock. So we going into the university from secondary school. And I went to a boys' school. So first time interacting with girls was like a fox in a fall couple. And it was like crazy. It was absolutely crazy because you never get so much female attention in your life until you go into a space where mommy and daddy, good little daughter, get a place to be free.
Right.
So everybody is like hungry hippos. Okay? That experience was the first time that I was actually afraid for my life because it was a weekend of wanton youthful exuberance, if you follow what I'm saying.
Liberation is what I call it.
Yeah, boy. And I mean I like it started on the Friday and it was almost damn near Monday morning when it was finished, And yeah, youthful exuberance because I was eating ramen, probably boiling 2 eggs, that kind of lifestyle where you need drips to come out of the room because it's just steam and fog. So the young lady in question, the following Monday was like, I have something to tell you. And my heart was like, starting to crumple up in my chest. I was breathing heavily. So the first time I got tested, it was because this person had what we call one of them common things that he was talking about.
Chlamydia.
Yeah.
Chlamydia or
No,
gonorrhea?
the trick.
Trichomonas. It's
Yeah.
not trick. Okay.
So to my chagrin, I was like, oh God, I'm gonna get AIDS and dead. Right? Because this is it. And my grandmother told me about this, and you see, you just don't listen and the whole
You go through a long list of things that you could have done different.
So that was like the first time I got tested was in that scenario. Thank God there was nothing. All right, but it kind of opened up my eyes. I mean, I'm more aware of, you kind of need to know what's going on with you. So yes, I've been tested on numerous occasions to answer your question.
Excellent. I actually think that's a great message
Yeah.
for your audience. Good. And you encourage people to get tested, right?
It makes sense to get tested. You can't really be playing with the 3 points on the, you know what I mean? Yeah, you know what I mean too. If you for Virgin Records, no, they just want to see a dog. Anyway, all right. So that's my answer to you.
All right. Okay, that's a good answer. I know you've been tested because you told the story about how you hate the urethral swab. So, or the swab that goes up there. So I already know your answer. But where y'all see this podcast going? That'll be my question to both of y'all.
Well, you all go first up.
I've spoken enough. My feelings are hurt. So
Oh, God.
You
Yeah.
guys.
Y'all can just balance out. Balance is key. That's my philosophy in life.
Balance is key.
You do yoga.
I don't do yoga. I have plenty hospital stories as well because I also spent a lot of time in the hospital as a patient and as a doctor. So I believe in balance,
She asked you the questions.
right? But where y'all see this podcast going?
You can go first though. You could go first.
Oh, I just want to interview certain people, but most of the people I want to interview, like the dying out now, I wanted to interview VS Naipaul, didn't get a chance. I want to interview people like that I watch as a child, or at least that I watch in such a high esteem. Not to say that I don't watch in high esteem, but you know what I'm talking about. I have like ideal goal guests. If I could get them like a list, I'll say, okay, this has been successful, regardless of how much ROI we get on it, regardless of views, whatever. If I could sit down, let me say if it's Barack Obama, and I could get Barack Obama on a show that says and he sit down there and he shoot the shit the same way you shooting the shit now, and we just talk and he catch kicks, the same things he's saying. I tell him stories. He tell me pat down. I was like, oh, it's the ex-former president tell me this, that. We reach far. We really, that's when I like my dream list. That's it.
That's valid though. For me, I think there will come a time one day when the words that being said on this podcast will be pivotal in our countrywide state now, you know. But right now, I think we build into that point where we have a good ground support, so that the common sentiment, or the way it's called that, the collective consciousness,
The layman.
yeah, is basically our voice. So we're trying to create that voice so that when we speak, it would actually make sense and make a ripple effect.
And what do you want to say with that voice?
We use satire to address somebody else in society. All right, so meaning like the show, hee-haw, you know, somebody will hear hee-haw, even see the titles for the show, and think it's some kind of degenerate sex podcast that going into some weird part of the internet. We really not on that. What we try to do is get your attention, because at the end of the day, you need to have some kind of delivery.
Right.
But this is about candid conversation. This conversation could go anywhere, because what we're trying to access is people giving us the credibility of, you know, we actually have real conversation. We're not trying to be snake oil sellers. If you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, I was going to say, because remember when we had a guest a few weeks ago, so we talking shit the whole time, and she catching kicks whatever, and then when I legit was like, oh, well, you know, you ever heard this novel whatever, and she was like, oh, which anime is that? And I was like, Aka, it's
wrong.
like in terms of, yeah, that was our troll on the internet later. I think Trinidad is in a space where if you go too, I want to say highbrow, is never be accepted. So I have to make like a caricature. I'd be too much. I can't be, hey, have you seen this film? You know, this was extremely pivotal in this whatever. I read this book because for Russian literature and this language, and talk certain things, because they'll be like, what are you talking about? Sometimes I feel as though if he goes to highbrow, I go to highbrow, it's like we are speaking Spanish. Oh no, we are speaking with a hard language. German to Latin language people. And there's a disconnect with that.
I mean, yeah, we had a great crowd, and this is a slow burn. This is not a cigarette. It's a cigar, if you want to consider it.
And that's fair. I think building anything, it takes time. And anything that is of substance and value, you know, it does take time. And you do need a space to tackle difficult topics. I would also say, even with my TikTok and educating people, I agree. Like, you do need to break things down to not just Trinidadians, but the public in general, so that they get it. Because I'm very thinking about it. Like, you know, nobody chose to study medicine. Nobody really chose to study the economy or politics. So you kind of do have to relate to the audience in the way that they can understand it. And that way, you know, I do think that you can make an impact. And I do think it's important to have tough conversations.
I know it's a time to think, but it's now popping in my head. You not afraid that you become the face in terms of people doing WebMD? You know, I'm talking about like, oh shit, I have a pimple here. That means I probably have ST because I watch one of Dr. Browne videos, and you understand what I'm saying? So they done start to go into this hypochondria where it's like, I saw this video and she did talk about anemia, but I like chewing ice. I probably have anemia.
So, I mean, one, yes, the videos are meant to trigger thought, you know, and for you to examine your own body, because I do think as individuals, humans, we are responsible for our own health. And as a doctor, I'm only here to guide you, help you along your own health journey. So it is meant to trigger thought and for you to ask a question. I do try to emphasize in the videos, go to the doctor. If it is your concern and this is something that you're feeling, I never say, hey, let's go Google it and see if I'm right. usually the point or the emphasis is you do need to see a doctor to kind of make sense of all the symptoms, and I try not to be irresponsible with the information that I'm putting out there, because I do know some people just make reference, because I've been getting a lot of messages privately and people have not responded to. It's just that I really cannot give individualized personal medical advice via the internet or via my DMs. It's just not appropriate and not the way to practice medicine. But yeah, it does, I'm concerned people will just, go and just research and say, well, now I have this. But this is why I encourage them to
seek medical
advice, and that I'm really conscious of being very, do my reading. Like, I don't just, it seems as though I think people think I just pick up my phone and talk. And I do that, right? It is based on things that I experience in the office and talking to patients. But I do my reading. Like, I most certainly do my reading, and then I'll have a conversation about it. It is I do think it's a bit of a talent, but I do the reading so that I at least give as much of a tip of the iceberg education, because it can go so much deeper when the patient comes into the office.
So you did an excellent job at being a host. I really appreciate the fact that you helped us do our job.
Thank you.
Being field podcast host to really get people coming and being like, they want to be our substitutes for a while. Right? So, good to you.
Thank you.
Here's the first speech.
Just a little quick one clap.
That
That was longer than you. Yeah, he probably liked you. That was longer.
Why you?
That was about 0.56 seconds longer though.
No. Why are you doing this? Like I told you, in that in front of us.
I try to be a good wing man.
No, you're killing it. No,
bad.
you're killing it. No.
Alright, kill it.
God, why you did, man? I hate you.
So, what I wanted to ask about now is the nutritional aspect of health, right?
Sure.
I don't think you're a nutritionist, but I'm sure that you have some idea of the aspect of, I want to go a versus route here. Do any natural fit and healthy way, or you taking the Ozempic and the surgery route?
So,
what's Ozempic, by the way?
Ozempic is a diabetic medication, right? It's a GLP-1 agonist. That's basically designed to slow your stomach from emptying too much food at once, and it basically prevents you from getting blood sugar spikes, and it decreases your appetite. And by doing that, you eat less and you lose a lot of weight, right? It basically slows the emptying of the stomach, right? Yeah, and tells your body you shouldn't be eating as much. And people have lost weight, a lot of celebrities.
So there's the opposite of munchies.
It's the opposite of munchies.
All right, cool.
So a lot of celebrities are on Ozempic. It's a very popular weight loss medication now, but it's really designed for diabetic patients, because obesity and being overweight is part of the issue with diabetes. So losing weight will help you control your blood sugar. So what is best way? Surgery, pharmaceutical, or natural or conservative? I believe that there's a ladder or way of doing things. So I will obviously encourage patients to do diet and exercise. And when I say diet, I mean, don't just treat food as if, or have a relationship with food as if it's medicine and it's there to sustain you and it's there to help your body recover and fight off disease. Have that relationship with food, not just, oh, I'm hungry, let me eat a KFC. Oh, I'm hungry, let me eat a pie. Oh, I'm hungry, let me eat a doubles. Like, understand what macronutrients you're putting in your body and how that's working with your body. And everybody's different in terms of their requirements and how many calories they need.
A doubles not good for you.
So, that's like, it's a doubles is
she
pretty...
answer politically there, boy. What's going on here?
A doubles is a lovely Trinidadian food. I love it. I think it's an amazing thing. I think it's also very carby, very greasy, full of oil, and it's a very high calorie. A doubles is like 375 calories in one. So if you eat two of those, you're basically having more than 700 calories on a morning.
I eat more doubles.
Six, 7 doubles in a row and things.
I eat more doubles. I eat more doubles then. Clearly.
You see, like, there you go, doubles. And, for some people, if you have a high metabolism, you can tolerate it. But for people who you're having weight issues and you want to lose weight, doubles is not the breakfast for you, right? If it is, you're trying to lose weight. And as you get older, it does become a lot more difficult to lose your weight, and you really have to pay attention to things that are causing you to gain weight. So, you have to pay attention to your body. Again, balance your macronutrients, your carbs, your fats, your protein, and, you have to exercise as well. Like, you can't just diet and expect to lose weight. You actually have to put in the work and do the exercise. So, I obviously think that if you have a relationship with your body and you get to that point where you can naturally achieve that state, then absolutely that is the way you should go. I mean, the second step is the Ozempic. I am not a huge fan of it, to be used for weight loss for diabetic patients, sure, because it is a diabetic drug, but everything comes with its complications. Like if you stop using it, I've heard reports of people gaining back the weight, right?
Naturally.
The appetite really never gets back to be the same because it really does slow the emptying of the stomach. And, you do lose weight in some really strange phases because some people have Ozempic face, like, their face becomes so kind of drawn as opposed to, just a kind of natural weight loss.
Some years ago, there was something called hydroxycut.
That's terrible for you. That's terrible for your heart. That was terrible.
Okay, so that was absolute garbage.
That's my point. I mean, hot water there. That like Herbalife thing. That Herbalife thing good for you?
No.
Oh.
It's if you drink water whole day, then you're going to lose weight.
So what about on the flip side now for the how does one gain weight?
Underweight.
The underweight. Well, if you want to gain weight and you're burning real calories, again, I recommend people get an app. I usually recommend MyFitnessPal. You have to pay for it after a month, but the first month is free. And kind of calculate or put it into the app how much weight you want to gain, what your goals, is it to build muscle, and then it will tell you how much you need to eat. And if you want to gain weight, then you have to up how many calories you're eating. So you need to be eating plenty and then exercising and lifting weights.
Yeah.
You have to eat a lot. Then you have to eating a lot because we had a receptionist in the office I worked at before this office, and he would he was buff and big, but he would eat like 6 times a day.
Jesus Christ.
He was eating he ate to keep up. It is a chore. People who try to maintain those type of muscle, that muscular weight, who have a high metabolism, you have to eat.
I just trying to not be able to do this.
You have to eat some more protein.
Hey, you telling me more protein?
A little bit more protein. I don't know how much protein you're eating now, but you need to eat
I
more.
don't comment.
So you eat doubles, egg, baked beans, dog, and you're good to go.
That's what you use it.
Some lean cuts of meat as well.
Lean cuts of meat.
And then you could try protein powder. I don't like it for a long term, but you could do it for like a short term.
I'm not trying to
So
be
so in terms of the creatine craze that was a thing, would you recommend that for something like him?
Creatine craze for people who are working out because they find that it gives them an extra boost in the gym. I mean, if you're going to the gym and you're working out and you don't have any kidney issues, then it's something that could be used. But I'm not huge on a whole list of supplements because there are people who, got to calling names, or I'm not calling any names, that will show that they're taking like 10,000 pills, a morning to, carb burner, fat burner, this burner. It's like, that's ridiculous. And that's absolutely insane. And a lot of the ingredients in those things are not FDA approved, and they're not, necessarily good for your heart or your kidneys, and it's just not good. And be for real now. Be so for real. Why are you even doing that? If you eat a properly healthy, balanced meal, you should be able to get in all your nutrients. And sometimes you do have supplementation, but there's carb burner, fat burner, this burner. I definitely don't believe in those.
So the vitamin E pill, okay, like I have a relative and it's like 20 different pills, zinc pills, this, that.
How old is that patient?
70.
So, right. So it's a 70-year-old patient. I don't know what the patient's comorbidities are. So for some people who are 70 plus, they do need some supplementation. And I mean, I doubt he's taking a fat burner, a carb burner. But things like vitamin E or vitamin B complex or vitamin D, those are supplements that, some patients definitely need to take, especially as you get older. It's important for you to kind of supplement. If you know you're definitely not getting it in your diet, then you could supplement it. But I'm talking about like those things that burn in all your macronutrients.
So was a good supplement to really take as a form of saying, just in case you're not really checking what you're missing, you could get
you could take any type of multivitamin. Again, as you get older, your requirements change. Vitamin B complexes, I think, is a really good supplement to take as you get older because it helps with brain function and neurological function. Vitamin E is been shown to protect the liver and fatty liver disease. So if you know that you're a heavy drinker, cut back on drinking. Vitamin E is not the cure, but it, take some vitamin E to help supplement. So there's certain, ones that you need to take more than others. Vitamin C is good for the skin and it is an immunity booster. So during flu season, COVID is forever going around. I would always, take
COVID is still a thing?
Yeah, people still get COVID.
Yeah.
People still get COVID, yes.
People still get COVID.
So I wanna because there's been a man show and all.
Absolutely.
Right, I wanna talk about testosterone. All right. I seen another craze going around where a lot of older men, this is men post 40, taking something called low T treatment, if I'm not mistaken.
To boost their testosterone.
Their testosterone.
Right.
just in the same way of the same homeopathic, you do the whole natural healthy whatever. After 40, is it wise to boost testosterone in the manner that you would have at age 19, know anywhere and to anybody?
What I would say is one should know your testosterone levels before you decide, hey, let me go take some.
And that's by a urologist.
But urologist is specifically for the structural issues of that lower part of your genitalia
the pipage.
and your kidneys and your ureters. That's what a urologist is supposed to do.
Okay.
Endocrinologist deals with the hormonal aspect of what's going on with you. So
That sounds expensive.
endocrinologists are expensive, but they're the best people to guide you. And so, like, just as women, as you get older, they have a dip in the hormones, and sometimes you give them hormonal replacement depending on how terrible the symptoms are. Replacing hormones as your body is basically like, I'm going to decrease it, can put you at risk of certain cancers for women. It could increase your risk depending on, again, what your levels are, what you're taking. It could increase your risk of getting endometrial, ovarian, or even breast cancer.
Yes.
Right? And so for guys, I have to fact check that to see if it will put you at increased risk of, again, I guess that's why they use low T, but I need to do reading on this.
So there's a difference between low T and there's high T as well?
If it's low, then it must be high.
See.
And the high T will put you at increased risk of certain, I imagine, certain
What
issues.
you saying what like that for the what's called testosterone, but then is not the men will be kind of like grr. I want to say
No,
buff,
well, you see,
but it's
you
like
remember
it's
you had
more
a-
aggressive and
Yeah.
shit.
But
So like
okay, but there's also those type of steroids that you use to bodybuild. It's not necessarily testosterone, right? But when you take it, it can be what in medicine we call peripherally converted to testosterone. But it's not actually what you're using. It's just like, oh, there's steroids here.
Okay,
Your body's
okay.
like, let me make use of it, and it makes it testosterone. So you get, hey, let me get.
Okay.
Because, he was a Brahma bull when he was younger. And
Oh
he goes out and,
God! Why you do
Just
that?
had to
Why you
say
do
it.
that
I
for?
had to say that. Just had
Don't
to
worry,
say
he
it.
talking about a former wrestler. Oh, he's wrestling again, by the way.
He's come back.
You know, he come back Friday. He came back Friday. But
I see you like wrestling. Did you watch the documentary on Vince McMahon?
it came out as yet.
Yeah, it came out.
That's gonna be more. That's one of the men I wanted to interview.
Y'all should watch the documentary. It's an interesting documentary.
No, he is like
He's unhinged.
No, he's like Diddy before Diddy.
He is unhinged. And the thing is,
Yes.
he was, because he had such a blurry line between fact and fiction, a lot of his storylines was like, well, you were doing this behind
Yeah.
closed
No,
doors.
yes,
But and you're just like,
yes.
well, I'm acting.
No, like,
I'm
no,
acting.
no, like,
it's like, you're not acting,
like-
though. Like,
like-
you're doing this.
I didn't need to
Vince
see the
has come back.
documentary before
Yes.
when the sexual assault stuff came out for him, and he was just like, "Well, Stephanie, is this, I go and step down. You run the company, and run back, and then continue to do what he was doing."
I think that even Stephanie was an issue. Stephanie had some issues with him in the end, and they said that there were some storylines that couldn't gotten. I think one of them is like, I think like with him impregnating her, like was one
Some of
of
the
the storylines.
wildest things I ever thinking
You know
about.
him.
Vince is the daughter.
Thank
Yes,
you. Like you
yes.
completely forget. Like no, it's a character. It's a character. It's just a character.
No, like legit. At that point, you remember he was going to sacrifice it to the devil. And I was like, "Yo,
It got very intense over there. But it's an interesting documentary, and again, I think one man should take a look at. You
No,
know,
Of
about
course,
how-
absolutely.
I have never. No, I like the character, the person. I can separate.
was it a character?
No.
That's the thing, it's like it wasn't a character.
That guy is
That's who he
unhinged.
is. That's who he is.
That's
It's
who he
Vince.
is.
He's at home in his skin, actually.
But throughout the entire interview, he speaks several times about how you have to separate the character from the man. He says it
psychopath.
several times in the entire interview. It's like,
Sociopath.
"Sir,
Yeah.
are you not aware, self-aware?
No, he's not. No,
When
he's-
you reach on that level, you can't be self. You can't be self.
there's nobody to tell him no.
But
Who's gonna tell him no?
no, but because the last time when it was back, remember it had a point in time when wrestling, it was like, is this real? When they were still trying to fight the Tony line. Oh no, this is real. They really having these fights, yeah, no.
Yeah.
They really having these fights. And then he would be like, oh, so is this fake? If I pull it by your tie right now and put your shit out here, is that fake? And they was playing that game. But now since the social media, we know it's kayfabe, the war broken down, these kind of things.
I think it was a blur between fact and
Oh
fiction.
no, Tim specifically, yes.
But I think with a lot of, even some of the storylines, his issues with Triple H, a lot of the issues,
Men like Cactus Jack Dog,
there were some,
Mick Foley.
Mick Foley. Yeah.
there were some underlying issues.
So you enjoyed the documentary.
I did because when I was younger, I did watch Vince McMahon and Stephanie McMahon. I mean, I stopped watching it years ago, but you did wonder what the hell was going on with that family. Like I used to be as a child, like what's going on there? It's a little weird.
No,
a wild family.
It's wild.
It was
And
wild.
Linda was getting horned the whole time.
Poor Linda. But Linda was also on the
Yes.
Linda.
Yes.
Yeah, we know.
You're complicit.
Yeah.
You were complicit with a lot of this shit.
Linda was away.
Linda.
But anyway,
So, ladies and gentlemen, we have gotten to the point of our last words. All right. We thank you for coming out again.
Thank you.
yes,
So,
yes, Doc.
give to our men, the men who listening to our show?
And the
just
women.
And the women.
The three
Can't
of
leave
you.
out the ladies.
The,
too.
the three of you.
You know, your final words on was, mental health and bodily consciousness. It could be. I try to be so
Political.
much more mindful of the things I say, especially the week I've had. So, you could go ahead, give your final words.
I was happy to come on the show, and I would say moving forward, my philosophy on health is that it's a balance between your mind, so your mental health, your physical health, and your spiritual health, and you have to, play an active role in your own health and listen to your body. I believe that patients know best with what's going on with themselves. You have to be honest with yourself and seek help if it is you want help and if you need help, and that's from any point of view of help, whether it's mental health, whether it's physical health. Like, it's okay to ask for help, and there are people in this world that want to help and generally want to help healthcare move forward 100%.
Nice.
I realized she didn't answer. She was going on this date with me. So let's ask her off here. Mom, I'm joking. I'm joking.
She said no.
Supposed to give an answer. I was like, you want to answer?
You want? Okay, let's see this.
She said no.
I was being politically right, but I could give you an answer.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I want to get this answer off here. Right now, my record is like 100%. Let's not try to ruin my hit and miss.
Absolutely. Let's not do that.
Off the record, please, guys. Yeah?
Absolutely.
Right, cool.
That's my last statement. Okay, ladies, listen, whatever this girl doing with her skin, or you need to pick this up. Someone looking like 40, this girl is like in her 50s, looking like 20. So if you know her from when I know her, the agent, like,
power to you.
I'm super flattered. I'm actually really, really flattered.
She kind of looks younger, like in some aspects.
Nice.
So
Well, it's not
that's
usual. Do good every time. Good will follow. Hey, you're on camera. All right, we out.